Welcome to Onshape Live 2022. We're so excited to have you join us for our second annual virtual user conference. My name is Loretta Faluide, and I'm the Senior Director of Product Marketing here at Onshape. On behalf of all of us, I would like to be the first to welcome you to our event. At Onshape, our mission is to support you, our diverse community of users, as you design products that change the world. To do so, it is important for us to work, learn, and grow with you. This is why we're so excited for this event, because we get the opportunity to bring you into our world and also hear directly from you. Since our last event, we've been busy adding more capabilities to our platform, capabilities to help you innovate, design, and get your products out to market faster. From a user perspective, we have seen tremendous growth in so many different parts of our community. Some of you are new customers, makers, educators, and students, and I want to wish you a warm welcome. Some of you watching today have been with us from the very beginning, and I also want to wish you a warm welcome. You were the early believers in our vision that's now catching on in the CAD industry. Now, last year we had a great time together, and one of the things that was beneficial to us was your feedback. Feedback on what you loved and what you'd like to see more of. This year, we're upping the ante. We've taken that great feedback and created an agenda with more content we hope you're excited about. Let's take a quick look at how the day will go. First up is a welcome address from PTC's President and CEO, Jim Heppelmann, where he'll be talking about how Onshape is accelerating innovation velocity by enabling organizations to be more agile in their development processes. Following Jim will be a keynote address from Jon Hirschtick, General Manager of Onshape here at PTC. Jon will share some of the exciting things that have happened over the past year and also provide some insights on what to expect in 2022. After hearing from leadership, we'll begin our breakout sessions. Remember when I mentioned that we were adding more to the agenda? Well, this year, we're providing 5 tracks for you to choose from. For professional users, we have 3 tracks focused on design process, design excellence, and a track for advanced design users. We also have 2 new education tracks tailored specifically to educators and students. Now, I know choosing from our lineup of sessions might be difficult because there will be so many interesting presentations going on at the same time. But don't worry if you can't see everything live. All of today's sessions will be recorded and available to you on demand after the event. After our breakout sessions, we'll all come back together for an exclusive sneak peek of what the Onshape R&D team has been working on. This segment was a big hit last year, and today, members of our R&D team will be returning once again to give you a glimpse into the future of Onshape, including some of the big enhancements that will be coming your way throughout the year. Now, something to note is that our sneak peek segment, along with all our breakout sessions, will include a live Q&A. So get ready to ask some of the burning questions on your mind during this time. Finally, to close out the event, we'll be announcing the winners of our design competition. This year, submissions were divided into 3 categories: part design, assembly design, and custom feature. We also will be announcing an overall design winner who will take home the coveted Onshape Championship belt. I know you all will be blown away by our winners. So as you can see, we have a jam-packed agenda planned for you today. As always, we are here to help. If you need any assistance at any time during the event, just click the green question mark in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. With that, let's kick off Onshape Live 2022. Our first speaker today is responsible for driving PTC's global business strategy and operations. In his 12-year tenure as CEO, he has spearheaded the company's thought leadership and development of its market-leading suite of technologies, which included the acquisition of Onshape in 2019. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce the President and CEO of PTC, Jim Heppelmann.
Well, thanks, Loretta, and hello to all the Onshape users, customers, and partners joining us from around the world for Onshape Live 22. It's great to be back together again. I'm Jim Heppelmann, the President and CEO of PTC, and on behalf of the entire PTC team, thank you for your support of Onshape. Now, there are many reasons why you and I love Onshape. It's a powerful system, but easy to use. It has some of the most impressive collaboration and data management capabilities in the industry, yet it's the easiest system to get started with. I know many of you attribute an element of competitive advantage to your use of Onshape. And it's easy to see the benefits that come from that combination of power, simplicity, and speed associated with this tool. But if you dig a little deeper, I see something more profound happening that's really the driver for competitive advantage. We're not really talking about a better tool. We're talking about a fundamentally better way of developing products. If you step back and watch how Onshape customers work, as I tend to do, you see that what Onshape is enabling fundamentally is agile product development. Now, when I say agile, I'm not really referring to the general definition of the word, which means quick and flexible. Instead, I'm referring to the more specific definition of agile as a project execution and management methodology. Today, the agile methodology has emerged as the main alternative to traditional waterfall or phase gate approaches. If you work in software or have close colleagues that do, you probably know what Agile is already. Over the last decade, it's gone mainstream and largely replaced waterfall as the dominant way that software teams work together. It's used everywhere, including here at PTC. Well, everywhere in software, that is, because it's still quite novel to use Agile for hardware development, the type of work you all do. But using Onshape, you're leading the pack in terms of changing that. You are the pioneers of Agile hardware development, or if you prefer, Agile product development. The benefits of Agile are well known to software developers. They know there is simply no faster way to a high-quality work product than the highly iterative, highly collaborative, exploratory, and non-deterministic methodology called Agile. But Agile requires techniques that have been difficult to apply to hardware because the tools we've been using for the last 30 years were designed for and frankly lock us into that phase gate approach. In traditional CAD systems, it takes a long time to get started when a new team forms because we need everybody involved to have or else go set up the right versions of CAD, PLM, software, and hardware up and down the supply chain before work really even starts. Then, even though there may be many users, each user really works by themselves. They use check-out and check-in processes to avoid clobbering each other's work, which by design enforces a sequential process where we take turns making changes. Users might work by themselves for days or weeks before sharing their latest work with the broader team. Suppliers are sent data packages and work offline in their own system for weeks before we get to see their latest ideas shared back to us. These approaches are the very antithesis of Agile. Fortunately, Onshape is the converse of that genre of tools. At PTC, we recently formed a new business unit where Onshape CAD and Arena PLM align to embrace and enable Agile product development processes. We call it the Velocity Business Unit because innovation velocity is the most important thing to companies that use Onshape. Let's look at some of the key principles of the Agile methodology to better appreciate why Onshape is such a breakthrough enabler of Agile product development. For purposes of my presentation today, I'll refer to principles and concepts from two trusted sources on Agile, Essential Scrum and the original Agile Manifesto. But if you don't have these references handy, you can just Google Agile development and you'll find literally millions of references to work with. It's a big deal. There are about a dozen key practices in the world of Agile, but in the interest of time, I'm grouping them into three major themes that illustrate the key differences and advantages of the Agile approach. All these themes tie back to the overall emphasis on innovation velocity. Our first theme is all about pace of development and concurrent work. This is important to the Onshape ecosystem. Many of you work with high-tech products that have electronics and software built into them. Because of rapid component obsolescence, these products have shorter life cycles between new versions, so you rely on a lot of clean sheet designs. Others of you are trying to move quickly to capture new or disrupt existing markets with brand new approaches. Either way, what you all have in common is that time to market is critical, and you measure your time to market in weeks or months rather than years. Now, in the phase gate approach I grew up in, you start in phase one by trying to fully understand and nail down the requirements before any real design work can even start. It's a real challenge, like trying to finalize the answer before you've really explored a complex question. When you do finalize requirements and move into the design phase, the distribution of data across so many computers, coupled with sequential work processes, drive infrequent design reviews, which are then followed by long rework loops. This process impedes fast progress. It's like cholesterol in the arteries of innovation. The Agile process works very differently, and Onshape helps you embrace the Agile approach by removing all of this friction. No time wasted on hardware and software setup. Suppliers and freelancers quickly become fully enabled members of the team. There's no need to freeze the requirements up front because you can easily test the ideas with each other and the customer many times along the way. Everybody's always working on the latest data and doing it concurrently with full transparency to each other's proposed changes. There's no waiting for a supplier to send their latest changes or a colleague to release a checkout to see their latest ideas. You can have daily design reviews, and progress can be measured by the validation of working assets. Concurrent work, coupled with a high clock cycle review, helps you understand a variety of different approaches and pick and choose the best as you go. If you want a real example of this approach, consider Zing Mobility. Zing designs and manufactures modular electric battery systems to convert vehicles such as trucks and construction machinery from diesel engines to electric power. Time to market and product variability are critical to Zing's business. Now, most batteries come in a traditional rectangular shape, but Zing develops batteries of all shapes, even asymmetrical ones, that can sit inside or even outside a vehicle, depending upon what it's used for. Creating unusual battery pack shapes from scratch can be time-consuming engineering and data management challenge. But Onshape allows Zing to keep pace with changing customer requirements. Zing's engineers even took Onshape to the next level by creating their own custom feature that automates the different battery configurations. This automation has allowed Zing to easily adapt to product variability while reducing the battery pack layout creation cycle time from a few hours down to just a few minutes. Let's move on to our second theme: embracing change and adaptability during the development process. If you're adhering to a phase gate or waterfall process, you're encouraged to shy away from change. It disrupts the design process and is always expensive, so you're encouraged to perfect everything before moving through that next gate. But as many of you know, change is inevitable because new facts and ideas and inputs present themselves as you progress. Waterfall and stage gate processes really struggle with change. I'm sure we've all finished a perfect deliverable that fully complies with requirements, only to hear, that's not what I meant. The world of Agile argues that it's impossible to get anything perfect up front, especially requirements. So you should embrace change as a more natural part of the process. You should be able to adjust and adapt without a big interruption to your workflow. Agile principles stress that change can be embraced in an economically sensible way, that adapting to change in the plan is better than conforming to the wrong plan, and that multiple concurrent learning and feedback loops should be utilized, with options kept open as long as possible to make the best decision. We see these principles in action with Actronica. Actronica creates haptic experiences by integrating touch-sensitive screen processors into other companies' hardware, automobiles, phones, video games, and other consumer products. Haptizing an existing product is an interesting challenge, and it requires dedicated collaboration between Actronica and its stakeholders. Actronica designers understand that change is a natural part of the design process. They use Onshape to share the iterations of their designs with colleagues, vendors, customers, and partners to make sure they're on the right track and to avoid the "that's not what I meant" reaction at the end of the design process. As you know with Onshape, this is as simple as sharing a link with whomever you want to review the design. This iterative process has created a much smoother design and collaboration process for Actronica. Onshape has features that help Actronica and all of our customers make change a more natural part of product development. For example, Onshape's branching, comparing, and merging features, which are totally unique in the world of CAD, are the perfect enabler for Agile processes because they encourage experimentation and concurrent learning to allow companies to be as adaptable as possible. All this experimentation can happen without impacting the original design, yet it's super easy to incorporate all the good ideas the team comes up with back into the base design. Onshape really honors that core Agile principle that change should be viewed as a natural part of the product development process, and we should embrace it rather than discourage it. If you embrace change, it puts you on an easy path to our third theme, which is prioritizing product quality. In a phase gate or waterfall process, quality is most often prioritized at the end of the development process, perhaps when you get to the test phase. But problems discovered here are very expensive. Agile allows us to design quality in from the very beginning and to test it at every step along the way. Rather than rely on long-lived assumptions, Onshape lets you validate design approaches quickly through simple collaboration with a customer, supplier, or other stakeholder. So in the earliest design iterations, you already know if the customer thinks you're headed in the right direction. With Onshape's soon-to-be-released simulation capabilities, which you'll hear more about today, you can test the product every day rather than wait until the design is finished, hand it off to another team, and then learn all the reasons why it won't work. A great example of prioritizing product quality is the company Hi5. Hi5 develops affordable, high-functioning prosthetic hands. You can understand right away why product quality and value are so important. Expectations for a prosthetic hand can vary from person to person, so Hi5 prioritizes user feedback early and often. In the interest of achieving the highest possible quality, Onshape enables Hi5 to experiment with different variations and to validate them with the team before merging them into the main design. Now, the examples I've shared today are from companies who are living the principles of Agile product development. You're seeing it in action, and it's very powerful. It is a real competitive advantage. One day, I bet every company will work this way. In software, it's already happened. You're either working the Agile way, or your colleagues think you're a dinosaur. But on the hardware side, you Onshape users are the pioneers, showing the world it can be done while creating an advantage for your companies in the process. Just like mobile phones, the internet, or high-def TV, changes like this happen gradually, then suddenly. I believe this one's about to tip. Seeing what you're all capable of doing only reinforces the optimism and commitment that we at PTC have for Onshape. It's a significant element of our strategy, it's a foundational part of our Velocity business unit, and it's a transformational tool that's changing the market forever. We're looking forward to 2022 being another great year for Onshape. I'd like to thank you all again for your support of Onshape and for attending Onshape Live 22. I enjoy meeting and working with our customers, and I hope that COVID fades and many of our paths will cross in this next year. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of today's event. Loretta, back to you.
Thanks, Jim. Our next speaker is a legend in the CAD industry. He's one of the original co-founders of Onshape, and he now leads the Onshape business unit here at PTC. He is also one of a very few CAD executives to receive the prestigious CAD Society Leadership Award. So, quick fun fact for some of you in the audience who might not know, but he was also part of the infamous MIT Blackjack team that you might have heard about in movies and books. I personally am still waiting on my one-on-one lesson. Today, he's going to take us through a more detailed look at what you can expect from Onshape in 2022. It is my great pleasure to introduce the General Manager of Onshape, Jon Hirschtick.
Thank you, Loretta. Onshape was founded with a vision, a dream of what we could build. We knew we could use the full potential of cloud, web, and mobile technology to improve the way that products are developed. We had a vision for the system we could build, a system that would solve many of the problems that we saw you, the product developers of the world, having with the older generation file-based installed CAD and PDM. But we also had a vision for the community we could build. That's you. And I have to say that while our system has turned out wonderfully, it's the Onshape community that makes us so special. And it's your success that gives us a great feeling of success. That's why I'm so excited to be here together with you today for Onshape Live 22, because today is not only a celebration of the strength of our software, but also the strength of you and the whole Onshape community. So let me offer my personal welcome to Onshape Live to all of you. Now here today are, of course, our users, and a special welcome to some particular types of users. First, our Onshape Ambassadors, welcome. Our user group leaders, our active forum contributors, and every user of Onshape here today, welcome. Beyond our commercial users, there are a whole bunch of other people in the Onshape community that are also here today. Our Onshape partners, welcome to you. Professors, teachers, students, our friends in the media and analysts community, and of course, PTC employees from the Onshape team, the Arena team, the education team, and many other parts of PTC, including many of the people who actually develop Onshape. So be aware that when you're in any of today's sessions, in addition to the users in the session, some of the people who develop Onshape will be watching the sessions too. So they'll hear the presentations and hear your questions and comments. Some of you have been with us for years, and some of you are brand new to Onshape. No matter where you are in your Onshape journey, you are going to learn a lot today and hopefully have some fun. I know I'm going to do both of those things. We've got a great program today. Loretta showed that awesome agenda. I am excited to attend sessions myself, and a big thank you to all of our speakers today. Now, in the next few minutes in this session, we're going to take a perspective view on all things Onshape, a tour over many of the amazing things that have been happening with our product, with our team, and with you over the past year. We'll also talk about some of the exciting things in store for all of us in 2022. First, let's talk about our product. 2021 was a great year with 16 major Onshape releases. I know you all love as much as I do those new releases every 3 weeks. Last year, we added tons of new functionality, extending the strength and depth of our product with more features in all our core areas: drawings, modeling, assemblies, data management, performance, data import and export, all the core tools that you use every day. Every one of them got better over the past year. Our R&D team grew again substantially last year, adding even more of the talented engineers who deliver these great enhancements to you. Last year's releases included both big new features and lots of the smaller things that we also know are so important to you. You are a huge part of helping us decide what we add to Onshape through your conversations with the people on our team and through the improvement requests you post. Thank you for all of your suggestions and new feature requests, and your patience, and for your kind words on the forum. We really appreciate it. I think the final release of 2021, the one in December of 2021, was particularly exciting to me. Release 1.140 was, I think you'll all agree, the biggest release of 2021, and maybe one of the biggest ones we ever shipped. A key thing about that December release, it was full of the detailed enhancements that you, our users, really care about. I hope you all share the excitement we have at this increased pace at which we're delivering new features, as you saw not only in that December release, but also as you saw in the increased rate of shipment of new features that has continued through our first releases of 2022, and there have already been 3 releases in 2022. So let's turn to our product plans for the rest of 2022. I want to share with you that 2022 is going to be the biggest year ever for the Onshape product. We are going to have a record amount of enhancements, and we like to think about these upcoming enhancements as being in 2 categories, depth and breadth. And when we say depth, we mean adding more functionality into core areas we already have in Onshape, most notably modeling and drawings. In fact, I hope every one of you will be very excited to know that we are planning to increase the rate of shipment of modeling enhancements in 2022 by 50%. So yes, we already have been the fastest evolving product in our industry, but our wonderful team, they decided to aim even higher with this 50% increase plan for modeling in 2022. And that is in addition to the large and growing rate of shipment of other depth enhancements in drawings, in data management, performance, mobile, and just about every other existing aspect of Onshape. So depth is one category of upcoming enhancements. The other category is breadth. Enhancements that take Onshape into whole new areas of functions that you have told us you want and need. 2022 is going to be a fantastic year for expanding the breadth of Onshape into new areas. In our first 3 releases of 2022, we've already shipped 2 big breadth additions. First, we've shipped our long-awaited Frames tool. We also shipped a beta release of rendering via our new Render Studio. So great to see your enthusiastic reactions. Later this year, you'll see the release of simulation. And I think you're going to love how we've built designer-level simulation right into normal Onshape working mode. I love it. Other areas where we're expanding Onshape's breadth include our upcoming PCB Studio for connecting Onshape to ECAD systems and a PLM integration with our sister PTC product, Arena. Cloud-native PLM. That integration with Arena is getting rave reviews from customers that have seen early versions of it. And we hope some other great things, even beyond what we are discussing here. Again, 2022 in both depth and breadth is not just another year for our Onshape product. It's going to be our biggest year ever. You all know that Onshape is the world's only cloud-native CAD and data management platform, and that our cloud-native architecture gives us many advantages that you love. But I want you to know that the advantages of our architecture, those aren't a one-time thing. They're not done. You're going to see more and more advantages to you that stem from our cloud-native architecture. The benefits will keep growing. An example, our Render Studio may be the world's only integrated rendering app that offers interactive rendering powered by cloud computing. Other rendering products may use cloud compute, but they don't use it interactively, but rather for batch jobs like back in the old mainframe days. You'll see similar unique benefits of our architecture in simulation and other upcoming Onshape functions. Our cloud-native Onshape architecture is truly a gift that keeps on giving. If you want to learn more about our architecture and how Onshape works, be sure to attend Ilya Barin and Lana Saxonov's Under the Hood session later today at Onshape Live. So that's enough about our products. Now let's talk about your products. We always say and truly believe that our true success is not our success, but it's your success. The great new products that you tell us you deliver better because of Onshape. Some of you tell us you work faster than you ever could. Some of you tell us you get more innovative designs. Some of you tell us that you have saved money on hardware and software licenses and servers. And some of you are getting better products done because you collaborate better with your team, your supply chain, even with your customers. One of the exciting parts of my work is that I get to know so many of you, some of the coolest product developers on the planet, and I get to talk with many of you about how you work and how that's changing. I also get to talk with analysts and consultants in our industry media about what they see and think. I want to take a moment now and share some of what I'm seeing and hearing about how you work. I'm hoping you find it useful. In summary, we're seeing you not just using a new CAD and PDM system when you use Onshape, but working in new ways. As Jim said a few minutes ago, we're seeing Agile product development used in the media more and more to talk about hardware product development. Some of you even say, we want to design hardware the way we design software, or we are a startup and we want to work like one. Or we're not a startup, but we want to work like a startup. Whether you call it Agile or not, there's so many differences between the old ways of working and the new. Let me highlight a few of them, see if you agree. First, time constants. And again, like Jim said, I used to see you talking about product development tasks in terms of weeks, months, years. Today, you're talking minutes, hours, days for tasks and pace. Another, communication. Used to be, if you want to communicate fast, you used email. But these days, email seems a little slow. These days, fast communication is done via texting, Slack, or other instant discussion tools, or through cloud-native systems like Onshape and Jira and Smart Sheets and Arena that have real-time databases that everyone can see and edit at the same time. No delays or copies. Another thing that's changing, of course, is your location. Used to be people worked at their desks in the office. Today, work from home, work on site, work in the field, work on the factory floor, work from anywhere really, and change where you work potentially daily or even multiple times per day, and be prepared to change where you work unexpectedly. And who is on the team and who has access to data? The old way, design data siloed to only core engineers. Today, design data available to everyone on multidisciplinary teams in real time. Another aspect, innovation. And I have to agree with what Jim said. We heard from you in the past that innovation meant working around your processes and tools. Today, innovation is accelerated by your tools, and we like to think Onshape in particular. Finally, a big one, serial versus parallel work. Jim showed this, and I also think it's super important. The old way, a lot of work was serial. One person locks and checks out data while the other people wait. Today, parallel work without locking and checkouts. One more thought. These new ways of working, well, we're talking about them with respect to your product design work, but there are also new ways of working in all sorts of other aspects of your companies. You're being agile in how quickly you change your supply chain, how you change which products you make and don't make, the quantities you make them in, which often change faster and larger than ever. The need for agile process in so many aspects was sort of imposed on all of us as a result of COVID. But the world is not going back. A higher rate of change is, I believe, the new normal. And those who master these new ways of working, like you do, have a real competitive advantage. Okay, now let's turn to another topic, our Onshape business. Thanks to you, it's doing great. In 2021, we were fortunate to add a record number of new customers. And, in fact, some very exciting news, Onshape has been named the #1 fastest growing CAD system. We are growing at 7 times the overall CAD industry growth rate, and we now have over 2 million users. So you are part of a fast-growing community. A big thank you to those of you who have referred Onshape to your colleagues. This is our best source of new Onshape customers. In addition to our commercial Onshape users, we also serve the world of education at every level, from primary schools to high schools, vocational schools, colleges, and universities. 2021 was another fantastic year for Onshape in education. In many parts of the education world, we are becoming a sort of de facto standard. We're excited about the positive impact we've made on over 1 million deserving students and teachers, and also know that our commercial Onshape customers are glad that more and more students coming into the workforce will know and think Onshape. So, as you can see, there's a lot of exciting things happening in the world of Onshape. In closing, I want to say thank you. Whether you are a user, whether you're an Onshape partner, whether you're a professor, a teacher, or a student, whether you're a member of the Onshape team, the Arena team, the PTC Education team, thank you all. Whether you've been part of the Onshape community for a few years or just these few minutes, thank you. I hope all of you see our excitement at not only where we've been, but where we're going. I hope you see our excitement at not only the product we've built, but the community we've built. I hope you're excited to join us for the rest of the sessions at Onshape Live today, and join me in learning even more to take the next steps together in our Onshape journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Jon. A great message from you and Jim. Now, it's time for you all to jump into your first breakout sessions. But first, let's chat a little bit about some logistics. I'm sure that the majority of you have already decided on the sessions you plan on attending today. But as a reminder, there are 5 tracks to choose from: 3 tracks for professional users, 2 tracks for educators and students. We'll have 3 breakouts lasting 45 minutes each. There will also be a 10-minute break between each breakout session. You can find more details in the full agenda, including the breakouts, by clicking the sessions icon in the navigation bar on the left side of your screen. Joining a breakout is easy. Just click the play button to launch the live presentation of your choice during the designated session time. To participate in the Q&A during the presentation, simply type your question in the moderator Q&A area on the right-hand side of your screen. At the conclusion of the 3rd breakout, we will see you back in here in studio for the sneak peek and design competition segments. Remember, all of today's sessions are being recorded, so everything will be available on demand after the event. Just keep an eye out for our post-event email for more details. Lastly, don't forget, if you need any assistance, just click the green question mark in the left-hand corner of your screen. So with that, let's take a short break so you can stretch your legs and review all the track and session details. I hope you all have a great time in the breakouts.